Hi, I'm Natasha Lockhart. Today on Studio Chatter, we've got some great topics lined up for you.
I'm Stacy Beck. We visited a new blow-dry bar in town. Don't know what that is? We'll show you.
And I'm Angie Murphy. We'll talk about the stigma of visiting a therapist and also ways to overcome the trauma in your life.
And we'll talk about 3 goals that could make big differences in your life. All this and more on Studio Chatter. Welcome to Studio Chatter. It's time for our infamous chat list, where we can catch up on our crazy lives. Who wants to go first?
Just talk to us about your fun.
My fun. We did Disney World. First time ever.
Yay.
I'm 50 years old. It's about darn time I got to Disney World.
Indeed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Ben.
Yes.
Okay, I knew
And
you
I've
had that.
been. Yep.
Yeah, it was good. We did all 4 parks and 2 days at Universal and then another day at Disney Springs, which is like their downtown Disney.
Wow.
So 5 days. Yeah?
5 days
5
Disney,
days Disney.
2 Universal. So
Oh, my
7
heavens.
straight days, and then the airport and run around that.
And
It was really good. It was cold. Like we look at what we pack, we look at the weather. It looks like it's gonna be 50s, 60s, which is decent.
right,
We
nice
land.
light jacket.
Light jacket, light.
Right.
We land,
wow.
and one of the days had dropped by 15 degrees. There were a couple mornings when we left the condo, because you go get at the park, it was 36, 37 degrees.
That is cold.
wow.
That's like here.
Yeah, we're listening to the weather when we get into our rental cars the first night, and they're like, this is going to be the coldest week of the year so far. I'm like,
Did you want to cry?
yeah, we had a full day of rain, and then one day in Universal Studios, the high was 49. Their cold is colder than here. Their 49 is colder than Utah's 49.
You were saying that, and I think the humidity kind
Yeah.
of plays into that.
Yeah.
Darn it, but you made it fun.
But
yes.
it was still fun. You plan a trip and you think it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows.
And it never is. There's
And-
always hiccups.
Yeah,
So the kids, did they do okay?
they did really great.
Because that's cold
That is,
for them.
Well, they were in a stroller, and we just bundled them up and put blankets on them, and they were fantastic.
Troopers.
So did
Yeah.
you have to buy ponchos, or what?
Yes.
So what, you had to buy ponchos?
We did
right?
have to buy ponchos
Okay, what
on the
about
one day.
shoes? How did you do with wet shoes? Because I know that
They were
really,
wet.
because I know that's
Yeah.
happened to us at Disneyland, and then you go back to the room and you're kind of blow drying them.
Oh
with
yeah,
the,
because maybe you don't have
Yeah.
a
right,
change
because
out.
you don't have backup. Maybe.
No, we all had 2 pairs of shoes. The sad thing on our rain day was there was like a rain cover over this double wide stroller, and we all went in somewhere for an hour. We come back, I don't know what happened, but all the rain had come down. It's like maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we still have
Just soaked?
6 hours ahead of us, and it's soaked. So the rest of the day, the kids can't ride in that.
Oh, darn.
So we're like umbrellas, ponchos, carrying the kids.
Adventures, guys.
But,
Like life is
it
never
was
what you
fun.
expect.
It was
But
fun.
what was your favorite part? Or
My
park?
favorite park, I think, is Epcot, and ironically, that was on the rainy day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Epcot was my favorite park.
Okay.
Majority of people went with Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
And
Which
my,
surprised me, really.
Yeah, I love Epcot just because
I
of the
love Epcot,
learning
too.
and like the different.
yeah, I felt like I was just going from country to country
Right.
and traveling the whole
Right.
day. And
But Animal
all the
Kingdom
food.
is great. Like we love the Yeti ride there, and then
And we
the
didn't get
actual
to go on that.
safari.
That was closed. There were several things that were closed that I was so looking forward to, and then you get there and my favorite
you're
ride,
okay.
Avatar.
Okay, yes,
Life
that's
changing.
amazing.
Right, that was good. So what have you guys been up to?
Wow, watching your adventures. Just watching your social media going, wow, that's amazing. No, let's see, what have we been doing? Dance. We've been doing a lot of dance.
Oh, yeah, you're
So
kicking
we're
that off.
yes. So we're into competition season.
Lucky you.
Yes, well, right out of the gate. So we had
And
one
Barrett did really well.
She did really well. So
Good
we've
for her.
been to one solo competition so far, and she won first in her category, and then overall in her category, and top 10. So we have
Good
another
for
one
her.
this weekend, and we're just right into the team stuff. So super fun, and then
Is it getting
soccer
earlier every
season.
year? Because I swear
Yes.
when we had little
Yeah.
girls,
It was like March.
April.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess March, April.
Right.
So we purposely did that also. So there's they start a few of the solo ones earlier so that they can do that on purpose. Get, kind of
Oh.
the, kind of get the
wiggles out.
wiggles out
Okay.
and get some of those quirky things out of their system before they go to some of the other ones. So
that's
super
fun. I miss dance sometimes.
And what about you?
What about you?
Guys, I don't even know from last time that we spoke. I'm just busy. I've been working and doing just my stake primary stuff and just getting back. I finally got my Christmas down, which was great, and now I've just kind of been de-junking and cleaning the house a little bit. We moved Bo from upstairs downstairs, and so just trying to figure out what to do with a new space, and
that's
I don't know.
good.
So just nothing big, I don't think. Nothing
but just living the
super
dream.
fun.
Now we're moving into a new month, February.
We are.
It's always nice to get January behind us, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, I feel there's a lot of that going on also. So kind of changing seasons, getting up the Valentine decor, a lot of pre-spring cleaning and maybe moving things around, changing things out.
You just feel like this need to like refresh.
Well, we're in the house all the time. There's like no escaping out into the yard, and so we're out.
And then look at. Talk about dreary January to great February.
Oh, and treats
you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I want to look into this.
What is this? Oh, it's a whole little basket.
Ooh, Pete.
It's Pete that we're thinking for this, right? Oh, what a great boss.
Bath bomb. And is this sauce?
Oh.
And popcorn and chocolate.
Yes.
Oh, this is
This
fun.
will be my highlight of the week.
Thank you.
Darling.
This makes me want to do something for Valentine's. As we're filming, Valentine's is less than 2 weeks out, and I usually don't think about Valentine's until maybe the date.
Guys, guess what I did? I ordered cookie crate.
Thank you.
Because she's doing just her last little orders.
Yeah.
Because they decided, to let it go.
Yes.
So I'm going to give that to my grandkids, and I order them a new book, Valentine's book, and then I'm going to do a balloon. But I don't know for my husband what I'm going to do.
I know.
I got the grandkids. So that's
do you guys
good.
just ever have yours? Like, are we good
We're
to
good.
skip? Oh, do you want a cookie, by the way?
No.
Well,
it's my anniversary.
It is. So
Nobody
you
better.
She has, yes, I do feel that way. I'm just
Last year,
like,
did
we're
you give
good.
them a set of knives?
Thank you.
Or was that for Christmas?
Don't bring up the knife.
She did.
I remember the knives.
Yes, yeah.
Because they sold her on those knives.
So, I had to have the knives. Well, and you know me. I'm kind of a traditionalist. That's a word, right?
Yeah.
In that, like, I'd love to go through the list of items, also, like, which every year represents.
Like 25th silver or whatever it is. Yeah.
So let's see. This year is year 13, and this year it's lace. So. That could be
that
good.
could be fun.
Not talk any more about that here.
Right.
It's a daytime television program.
Correct. Yes. So we'll just leave that right there.
And I'll keep thinking of ideas. I did send Rhett my favorite perfume that I'm kind of out of.
Ooh, that's a
that
good
was
one.
a good idea.
Well, I want to ask you, does your parents or their other grandparents do things for the kids for Valentine's?
Yes, they do.
Like big things, little things, doesn't matter. Like what do the kids
send
like?
They send Valentine cards. I
always get the grandkids a little. I just get a pack and then write them out to them.
Okay.
Yep. They usually from out of state. They usually get a Valentine card with a little something and
Okay.
yeah, and then we have a February birthday as well. So
And is she gonna be 11?
Oh yes.
Do you have plans?
And so you know that she's already got her list ready to go.
Yes. Do you have plans?
We do. She actually wants to take her group of friends ice skating. They're going to go figure skating. And I'm kind of debating about maybe a tea party with her. Either just the two of us doing tea, or we actually thought about maybe doing a picnic party also. So I don't know
we
what
know
we're
the
gonna do.
people
Yes,
for that.
Right? I know.
Yep.
So,
Oh, have fun.
something fun.
Take lots of pictures.
Yes.
For sure. Yes.
For
Happy
preteens,
Valentine's.
right there.
Whatever
Happy
you
Valentine's
choose
Day.
to do.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, we're going to have a fun show today.
Yes, we are. I'm excited.
Yep.
Next on Studio Chatter, we went on a field trip to see a new type of salon. You don't want to miss this. Welcome. We couldn't be more excited. Spanish Borg finally has a blow dry bar. We are on site at Wild Ivy, and with us is the owner, Michelle. Tell us all about Wild Ivy.
Hi, we're so excited to have you guys here today. So Wild Ivy is a blow dry bar, and it's an experience. So Something different that we do is we provide drinks for everybody, mixers. We have a juice bar. We also do cookies. That's kind of a fun treat that we do here instead of our American Fork location. What we do is we bring you guys back and you guys get to have a whole experience. So the shampoo chairs are massagers. You get scalp massages.
Love that.
And then we use state of the line products to keep your blowout lasting longer than just a few days. So you can go longer with your blowout than in between washes. So
Natasha is a huge fan of the blow dry bar. We are first timers?
First timer.
Okay.
So tell everybody what sets you apart from a regular salon.
Yes.
So a regular salon does cuts and colors, and we just do blowouts. So we just do washes and styles. We also do updos and makeup for special occasions. But we really have perfected the wash and style. So it's a whole experience. We provide the drinks, the atmosphere. So we're very different in that sense that we're just doing blowouts. So
I love it so much. So if you're like me and you hate washing your own hair or blow drying it, or your daughters,
or you just need to get pampered,
or you just need to be pampered. Exactly. It is totally worth the experience.
I'm hoping you offer gift cards.
We do, yes.
Because this is going to be perfect for February. Birthdays, Mother's Day, just months away. So many
and different kind of levels and pricing and everything like that.
Yeah, so we offer memberships for somebody like you and I that go into blow dry bars a lot. So we have anywhere from 2 a month to unlimited. And then we also offer, right now we're doing a buy one, get one free special. So you can buy one and you get one free, which is about, our blowout is $42, so that puts it at $21 per service, which is really good.
Should we buy one before we leave?
Yes, let's do.
Yes, that's amazing. That's amazing. So we're going to enjoy the experience today. And then we'll talk a little bit more after the fact.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, come with us.
You guys look great.
Thank
you so much. It's such a treat.
Great. What a treat, guys. I really needed this.
So just starting off with like the brush. Tell us the brush when they were just brushing our scalp when we just first sat in the chair.
Yeah, so those are our rock and rattle brushes, and they're actually from London. We sell them on our website. We sell them here.
Okay.
So they have boar bristles. You can take out the pad and clean them. I really like that. So it's got the removable pad. We can replace them if they get damaged. But it brings the natural oils of your scalp into your hair. So it really is really good for your hair and your scalp. So.
And why is that important to bring those natural oils in?
Because it hydrates the hair without like using a lot of product. So it just naturally...
So we should be brushing our hair more often.
Yes.
Just brushing it, just because.
Yes.
Okay, good. So then we went back to the washing area and tell us about that process, because they told us that you like teach them how to wash it a certain way too.
Yeah, so we wanted to be different. What kind of sets us apart from most places is the whole experience, like we talked about. But they do a 5-minute scalp massage. We have the massage chairs. So really kind of offering the whole experience and focusing. We have a whole back bar of all different types of shampoos and conditioners, hair masks, to really do what's best for your hair. So we really try to individualize the hair care for you your hair needs.
So Michelle, if someone wanted to come in and say, I really need a deep conditioner, can they just add things like that on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have that. We have scalp treatments. We have a lot of different types of hair masks to help. So.
Okay, good to know.
We should get a scalp treatment and the whole.
Oh, I know.
deal
And that
next
massage
time.
chair just felt wonderful.
Fantastic, isn't it?
And the
Yeah.
little poof was so just cozy and comfy, and I just could take a blanket and wrap it.
I loved when we went back and your hair getting curled with that Dyson curling iron, and your hair was still wet.
So it's the Dyson Airwrap, and I learned about that the last time I was here. So it's actually still a bit damp, and then she pulls the barrel, pulls the hair into the barrel while it's still a bit damp, and it curls it. And the curls last for nearly a week. And
No
it's a
What's the
beautiful
difference
curl.
between the curling devices, and why would you use something different?
So there's the curling iron that gives you that instant curl, but sometimes that doesn't last. Like for me, it maybe lasts a day or two, so it doesn't last super long. Somebody probably the same thing for her. So with her hair, it's going to hold that curl a lot longer to where she can go longer without washes.
So interesting. It was pretty cool. It just sucked it in and then curled it. I thought that was really neat.
The whole thing, and your girls were darling.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just very
They are
relaxing,
great.
and the drinks were delicious.
And the salon is beautiful.
Yeah.
It
Thank
just
you.
feels nice. It
Fantastic.
feels like a little.
So, Michelle, before we
Pampering.
even jumped in at the very beginning, we didn't even ask, like, are you from Spanish Fork?
Yeah, so I am born and raised here. My
Okay.
family's from here. So my aunt and uncle is Doug and Carol Ford. My grandparents lived here. So I have a lot of roots here. So that's what, when I was thinking about doing something, I thought I love blow dry bars. I love that experience to give women that they can come and pamper themselves and just offer something different than what's here in Spanish Fork. And it just made sense to do it here because this is where I live. I raise my kids here. They play all competitive sports, and so it just makes sense.
It's just a perfect fit. Well, welcome
Thank you.
to Spanish Fork as a business owner.
And
this is a
everyone needs
new
to
thing
come.
for you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody
It's like a
needs to
hidden
come and
gem.
treat themselves.
Now we understand, Natasha.
we
Just talked
get it.
about a blow dry
Yes,
bar
yes,
so often.
thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Where were you first exposed?
So I just found some up in Salt Lake, and I just thought I can't drive up here once a week. You know, I just don't have the time being a mom, and I work a regular job, and so I just thought, hey, let's start one. So I reached out to Mercedes that owns the Villas, and I said, do you want to do this? And she said, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. She's a good one to partner up with.
Yeah.
Love
She is.
it.
Well,
Yes.
so Valentine's is just around the corner.
Yep.
Are you guys offering anything for our viewers or the residents?
Yeah, so we have buy one, get one free right now. We also, anybody that mentions Studio Chatter can get $5 off a service as well.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
And then we have memberships. Our memberships are great. You get discounts if you come in more than like twice a month. We have 2, 3, 4, and unlimited washes.
Okay.
So.
Awesome. We will all be back, I'm sure of it.
Yep, buying our
Indeed.
passes on the way out.
It was fun to come together.
Yes.
So we could talk. It really felt like we were back in the 1950s, the salon experience where you have your girlfriends next to you catching up on.
But what a fun, like, that is a perfect idea, Stace. Like, instead of going to lunch, maybe just come get a blow dry instead.
Yeah. And everyone goes home happy and
Less calories.
Absolutely.
I like
Less
it.
calories.
Beautiful hair.
yeah. Well, it was so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
You guys as well. I appreciate you guys coming by.
Best
this
of
was fun.
luck.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Thanks for being here with us. Wasn't that fantastic?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it really was. I love to just be pampered.
Oh my gosh.
guys.
Natasha, we
I
get
need
it.
more of that.
We understand why.
We do understand.
Oh, it's so good.
The shop was great. I learned a lot of new things, like the Dyson brand in general, how great it is.
Well, I mean, literally, I'm still like, these are leftover curls, and I'll probably go one more day before I break down.
And you did the different.
I did the
Yeah.
Dyson Airwrap.
Okay. So it was wet and then it went dry, and maybe
Yes.
that held the curl better.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It just
Yeah.
kind of sucks it in and curls it up, but they
Did you,
really
when you guys
spoiled
got
us.
home, we were sent home with bags. Oh,
Yes.
this. Did you guys look at their, like, the menu, their services
I
and
did when we
membership?
were there afterwards.
So I have not looked at it. Tell me a little bit about their
So super
memberships.
quick. So
Yeah.
they have so they have the membership, so you can basically get 1, 2, 3, 4 a month if you want
just
to.
sign up for
so
membership.
there's the different scale.
Okay.
They literally have women that don't even own shampoo and conditioner at home that just go and have their hair.
I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. Like this little conditioner thing came in my bag.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, it smells.
Yes, the
I think
Kevin
that
Murphy
was
brand
one of my
is
favorite
just
parts.
delish.
Was going home after and just
Yeah, still
smelling my
smelling it.
hair and just feeling pampered and refreshed.
So yummy.
And the products, they were putting the products in my hair. Did they sit and tell you guys, like, this is for this and this? I'm thinking, this is brilliant.
Yeah,
This
it really is.
just-
So really quickly,
Yes,
just
what they
about
gave us.
saving your hair after the fact. So they sent us home with a few goodies.
Yes.
Okay, so the scrunchies are purposely sent home or to kind of save your hair after the fact, to put it up in the high pony and to sleep on a silk pillowcase. Will kind of
I just got a silk pillowcase. I'll do that next time. I'll remember.
Yep, we'll kind of just save. And
Okay.
then the comb that you have here too, like
Yes.
also kind of to just separate the curl a little bit. And then
Okay.
the rock and rattle brushes.
Is that
my
to
gosh.
massage the scalp? Is that what
Yes.
they told us?
Yep.
Okay.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to go home
To
and
bring
brush
the
my-
oils from there
Yes,
down,
and
which
to-
I
and to
learned.
brush
And they're
often.
beautiful.
Yes, they are
Yes,
beautiful.
we chose birds. We don't know why. Natasha's matching a shirt, which is great.
And then just rocking the brand
Cheers.
here. Yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
I'm
Cheers.
just-
What a party.
And then
Yeah,
the,
I think they're doing great things.
yes, the mixers and the drinks. It's
Yeah.
all so good.
Yep.
Go visit.
Highly
Go
recommend.
visit soon. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you, Wild Ivy.
Oh, good. Thank you, Wild Ivy. Coming up on Studio Chatter, we've got a therapist in the studio. Stay with us. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. You might need some help from a therapist, but you're afraid of what your neighbor might say. Let's solve that problem. Please welcome family therapist Maddie Talbert with Maple Mountain Therapy and Life Coaching to our table. Welcome, Maddie.
Hello. Hello,
Hi,
you
it's
cute
our-
ladies.
It's good to have you back. We have had you
is.
before and we love you. So thank you.
Thanks for having me back.
That opening, though, makes me cringe a little
Yep.
bit. Like, I'm worried about what the neighbor will think or what my sister or brother might think if I'm in therapy. Is that still
It's
a
still
stigma?
it's still a stigma. We all think that it's some kind of weakness. If we go to a therapist, then we're weak, and that we should be able to figure out our problems by ourselves.
Or we shouldn't have problems, right?
Yeah. And if we do, like, we're smart enough to figure this out, I shouldn't have to go to someone else. So what I try to tell my clients is I go to someone to cut my hair, and I go to someone to do my taxes, and if my car breaks down, I go to a mechanic because they have specialties in that area and I don't. And so going to a therapist is just going to someone who's spent their life and their education in that area. And it's like going to any other specialist that we go to in our lives. And we all do that.
Well, and I look at it too, Maddie, that you have a lot of tools that I've never studied or I've never gained or learned. Why would I not want to go?
Right.
If there were some tools I needed, go get them
Right.
from you.
Can you imagine going out and trying to fix your own car? You know, I
No,
was-
we have tried to do that this past week, even changing out a battery, and that was tricky. So I can't imagine changing a life trauma.
Right.
Or, maybe just something simple, or a divorce, or whatever it may be. There's
Right.
people who can help you get through those
And I've been doing this for
successfully.
33 years. So this is where I spend my time, my education, and I haven't spent on other areas. So it's just like, just go to someone who can use that, help you with that service that you need.
So do you think it's changed in those 33 years? And do you think that the problem, like the stigma, is it more nationwide? Do you feel it's more culture, like more so in Utah? I mean, how do you feel like that's changed for you over the years?
Well, it's certainly not as bad as it was 30
Okay.
some years ago. We've improved. And in fact, I think the younger generation is better than the older generation. I see some children, young children, like 11, 12-ish, and they are just happy as pie to come to their therapist. And teenagers, it's the older people
Right.
that still have more of the stigma. The youth are a lot more open to it. So.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I asked the question, because I feel like the older generation is so reserved with a number of topics, and that the younger generation, they're just much more open. I mean, with social media, they're kind of just happy
Too
to
open sometimes.
Yes, happy to expose a lot of things.
Right, which kind of connects me. Do we need it more now than we did before with the evolution of technology and different things? Do you feel like that is a thing?
Yes, we have a lot more people suffering from anxiety than I've ever seen. This day and age, and there's such a divide, and people don't know where to turn. We have one parent sometimes that feels this way and the other parent that feels the opposite. They go to school, they hear different things. Some of it's true, some of it's not. They don't know where to turn.
There's so much information being filtered to us
Right.
that I would imagine that's causing, I don't know, just hardships with everyone.
They go
a
on
little bit.
social media and they think that all these people are beautiful. Then we find out they're all using filters. They don't really look like that. But these kids don't know that. And they think, I don't look that good. So their self-esteem suffers. There's just so much more than we ever had to deal with when we were young.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Maddie, do you feel like you have a specialty or a specific area of focus that?
Well, I do a lot with anxiety and depression, but lately I've been doing a lot of with trauma work because I've been certified with EMDR therapy.
So tell us a little bit about what that is.
So I brought a book from Francine Shapiro. She is the founder of EMDR therapy. And it has just changed the whole therapy world.
Really?
So it's kind of like science and psychology have merged because we know so much more about the brain and how it works. And so what she found out and developed was that during our sleep, we have REM sleep, REM,
Okay.
rapid eye movement sleep. And that is the time that our brain does a lot of healing. Because you know, when you were younger, don't go to bed mad. You know, we were told that when you first got married, never go to bed
Worst
mad.
advice I ever got.
Yes.
It really is true.
It's the worst advice ever.
Thank you. I thought we
Because-
would stay up fighting forever. I'm like, I just want to go to sleep.
And it just gets worse. I'll be
I know. And then I wake up, I'm like, I'm not even mad now.
Right, you don't even remember the next day. So if you get a good night's sleep, the REM sleep actually heals a lot of trauma from the day. So we suffer traumas every day. Road rage, or someone cuts us off, right? Someone says something that hurts our feelings. I
Right.
mean, every day we have small things that really hurt us. Well, during that REM sleep, and it's not if you have an Apple Watch or something that tells you how much REM sleep. And it's not a long portion of your sleep. Sometimes mine's 20 minutes, sometimes it's 40 minutes, hour and a half out of the whole night.
Your whole night?
Yes.
Is it
Interesting.
in a row or is it broken up?
Usually it's in a row,
Okay.
usually. But those people who do not go into REM sleep, that's when there's a problem. Or the people who do not get enough sleep. You know what that does
Yes,
to you.
yeah. Right.
So we know that sleep's important, but the REM sleep is actually healing the brain of trauma.
And how does it heal?
We don't know for sure. The scientists know that it is because our brain never turns off. You know, that's why we have dreams. But during that time, it's really technical, but there's a place in our brain that has an alarm that puts us in fight, flight, or freeze, you know?
Okay.
And then the hippocampus is the place where memory is stored. But the frontal lobe is where we have thinking and planning and organizing. And when all of those are in line, then our trauma gets healed. Those three things in order heal the trauma.
Wow.
But sometimes we all have had those situations in our life where something sticks and we don't know why. And so during EMDR, we ask the person, what are you here for? And they'll say, I just don't feel enough, like I'm good enough. I don't feel like I fit in, or I feel unlovable. And like, where did that come from? Because it is a constant recording in their mind that they feel that way. So during this therapy, we can actually go back and find out where that came from. They can identify it. I don't, but they can identify that. And then once we identify it, it can be healed through the rapid eye movement, just like the REM sleep. Only they do it in a therapist's office in a safe place. So they're with me and they're awake, and I do the rapid eye movement with just healing. So there's a dual awareness going on.
Like, what does that look
makes
like?
sense.
Like a, like this? Or
Yeah, it could
that's what I
be.
imagine.
Yeah, it could be. I use a little wand. It goes back and forth because my fingers get so tired. You can tap and go back and forth. You can tap on knees. I like to do the eye movement, mostly in my practice. But there's lots of different therapists that do different ways. But it's a really technical way, and you have to be trained. And so there's some therapists out there that say they do EMDR, but they haven't been trained. Okay. And so I've had a few clients that said, it didn't work for me. And so I said, well, let's try it. And they go, oh, well, I didn't do that before. Oh, I didn't do that. And it's because they haven't been with a trained therapist.
So that specifically is for trauma?
For trauma. Okay. But it's for, they first use it with veterans from war, because we know PTSD is huge. And they would come back and they would be safe in their house, but they'd hear a firecracker or somebody would drop a book, and they could go right back to that time that they were on the, and they would feel the same emotions. And so when you have a trauma like that, not only do you remember, you feel like you're in the situation.
I had postpartum, and I do remember that. I got through it, but I was stuck on a certain pathway of thinking, and I don't know how I really got through it. I did go through a therapist, but different things. But just like thinking back to the thing that I was stuck on sometimes will bring about that same feeling. And now I'm like past it, so I feel it in a good space, but I do understand that. And if you haven't healed or processed it or done however it is, you keep going back and ruminating there. Yeah.
And it could be a huge thing like war or a car accident, or your parents got divorced when you were small. It could be something huge, but it could be something that just you were bullied in school, or this really embarrassing time that you were speaking in class that everyone made fun of you, and you don't think that, I mean, that happens to most people, right? But some people heal from that, and some people get really stuck. So I had a 48-year-old man who could not give a presentation in front of, he's the CEO of a company, and he goes, I cannot give a presentation. I shake, I sweat, and I just like give it to someone else to do. I cannot, and I don't know where that comes from. So during the therapy, it went back to his childhood and him giving a speech, and it didn't go well, and he got stuck with those same emotions, and those same feelings came up from him every time a speech was about to come up.
So amazing. Our brain, our mind.
So once you determine the trigger, then you can work on the healing?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
The brain actually heals itself during this therapy.
So just like our body heals, like with a cut, like you're saying, I can see that our brain should be able to heal the same way.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I had a paper cut, and I can't even remember which finger it was on because it's totally healed up, right? And our cells heal. It just makes sense that our brain would have a way to do that too.
Yeah. Maddie, if our viewers are finally feeling after this conversation, I think I'm ready. How would they contact you? Is your practice here in town?
Yes, but there's a lot of, I have quite a waiting list right now.
Do you?
But there's a lot of good therapists out there. But if you want EMDR, you go into emdria.org, and it lists the trained therapist with EMDR.
Within our area.
And so some people find me through that.
Okay.
A lady the other day said, you were on the website and you're here in Spanish Fork, and I found you.
Okay, so that's a good source to go to.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for educating us.
Oh, bless your heart.
We love you, Maddie. Thank you.
Thanks.
Coming up on Studio Chatter, we've got one of our favorite guests with a lot to say. Stay with us. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. We all have busy days, but truthfully, how does our next guest do it all? Welcome Ashley Stratton back to our table. Welcome.
Thanks. It's so fun to be here.
Hi.
When did we last have you?
I want to say it was probably a year ago or over a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
It's cruised
And you've been on a couple, have you only been on once?
I've been on once, and then I was on once for Fiesta Days.
Okay, that's right.
Like just
So
a
this
fun
is your
Fiesta
third
Days
time.
questionnaire. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's so fun to be back.
Well, thank you.
So I think probably during Miss Spanish Fork days, because that was when? 2008?
2008, yes. And I don't know if this show is running yet.
I was going
at
to
that
say,
point.
I was maybe helping here at the studios, but not in this capacity.
Right, yep.
So maybe we can both say that we've grown up a little bit,
Yes,
right? Is that
yes.
fair to say?
That is very fair to say, yeah. So we go way back.
Yes. So actually,
Yes,
you
we
were
do.
Miss Spanish Fork 2008.
Yes.
Like, what kind of memories do you have? Like, what do you think was really influential in that role?
Well, I think the biggest things I learned from Miss Spanish Fork was how to set a goal at a really young age and then how to follow through and accomplish it. And I had some really great mentors that helped me along the way too. But when I tried out for Miss Spanish Fork, I got this cork board and I hung it up in front of my bed and I wrote Miss Spanish Fork 2008 is Ashley Jex, because that was my maiden name at the time. And I put it in front of my bed and then I printed off a picture of Miss America being crowned, because I hadn't been crowned by anything yet. And then I cut out my face and I stuck it on hers. And then I put that on my board.
I love you.
And so I would wake up and I'd see that every day. And it would remind me to take action on my goals, to work on swimsuit, or, oh yeah, I gotta call the neighbors to work on interview, or, oh yeah, I gotta practice my piano for the talent. So I feel like I had this experience at a really young age that I learned the power in seeing your goals in front of you every single day and visualizing them. And that was super powerful for me to learn that at a young age. So that was
What a visual, right?
Yeah, just listen
Because I am a visual learner as well,
Yes.
so I can see how that would be so helpful and
Yeah.
obtaining. You have to constantly be reminded of that.
Yeah.
So what was your next goal after Miss Spanish Fork?
Well, after Miss Spanish Fork, then I went to Miss Utah after that at a young age. So I learned another valuable lesson going to Miss Utah, and it was a bigger stage, and I had an interview coach, and she was absolutely incredible. And she said, before, you might know her, Tewa. Anyway, she told me right before I go on stage, she said, you need to define what success is for you before you go to this pageant. And she said,
Interesting.
I know, right? She said there's only going to be one winner. And so you have to decide, is that success for you? And for me, I thought about that question, and I knew that success for me was just playing my piano piece the best I could.
Geez, that almost like makes me teary. Like that question for so many people, kids, teenagers, adults.
Well, my son's football coach said the same thing. There's only going to be one winner at the end of all this. So we have to be good with the journey and what we're doing and what we're accomplishing along the way.
Absolutely.
What was scarier, trying out for Miss Spanish Fork or Miss Utah?
Miss Spanish Fork, by far. Because it was
there
my
was
first
new.
experience.
At least by Miss Utah, you had practiced and knew kind of what you were up against.
Yes.
Well, I imagine around your peers, that would be kind of intimidating as well. Like all the people that know you.
Yeah. Well, and at that point when I got to Miss Utah, I was really good at visualizing. I also had an awesome piano teacher that she had me write affirmation cards to practice the piano, and it was she had me picture exactly what I wanted to have happen at Miss Utah and write it on the cards, like everything from the judges standing on their feet and clapping. She's like, write that down and visualize it every single time you sit down to play the piano. So I'd have my little cards and I'd read them before I'd practice. And then I would do that, and I really struggled to perform the piano in front of people. So to go and play that successfully, I mean, that to me was success.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think that's
really
so
neat.
powerful. We even try practicing that at home now too. Even just the power of positivity and writing it down and playing that out.
Right.
But now that you are that motivational speaker and you're that person for even these small people or even for adults.
Or even for your family.
Right. What was the turning point that made you want to become that person for other people?
That is such a good question. I think it came stemming from having an opportunity to go and speak and share a powerful, positive message, starting with pageants. And then I was involved in leadership things in college and had lots of wonderful speaking opportunities. And I had the chance to be trained by one of the top 10 speakers in the world, Dan Clark, and he just took me under his wing and took me to the National Speakers Association. And I started speaking, and then after my speeches, having people come up to you and say, with tears in their eyes, and say, this really made a difference in my life for you to say this one thing. Or this thing in your speech has helped me take a positive step in the right direction. Those type of things
Catapult you to the next, right?
And it was the moment where I was like, oh my heck, my voice and my message and sharing is actually making a difference. And so after,
so cool.
I took a break when I had some children, but now I've been getting back into it, and it's just so rewarding. I feel so passionate about the power of a positive speech.
Let's the viewers tell our viewers a little bit about your personal life.
Okay, so I am a mom of 4 kids, And it's my greatest blessing. I even brought my son here with me because I started a podcast. Well, I didn't start a podcast. I'm a co-hosting on a podcast, Connie Stokel's Purpose-Filled Life podcast. And I have a mini series right now going on where I'm interviewing moms who are pursuing a passion, but still trying to balance putting their faith in their family first. And what does that look like, you know? Because after I had children, it was really difficult for me to go after a goal and to do that. And I just felt like I had one failure after another, and I couldn't get traction on how to accomplish a goal and being a mom. Because my family is my most important priority, and no goal or no dream would be worth sacrificing my faith in my family.
Totally. And you feel selfish picking one or the other.
But yet you feel drawn to something else as well.
Accomplishing something for yourself.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of moms out there like that.
I think most.
Yeah. I think most too.
Yep.
That even though they're at home, they just feel drawn to something. Like whether it's like beautifying a space or doing gardening or working with people, you know, I think there's always something that people are desiring. So I'm on a path to figure out what those things are, and I found some patterns in the women I interview, and it's been great. So that's something I've been doing personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do the kids like seeing you fulfill your dreams?
Yeah.
Are they supportive, or do you feel like they're resentful at all, or?
I feel like so far they've been supportive.
Good.
Yeah. It was so funny. I had an experience the other day. I went on one of my first high-profile podcasts. I was getting interviewed, and I was a little bit nervous. And I so believe in the power of sharing everything we're working on with our kids, even if they can't come with us. Because a lot of times they can't. They just can't come with you to work or to work on your goals if it's outside the home. But I still think we can share with them at home what we're doing.
Right.
So I told my kids about this podcast I was working on, and my little 7-year-old, I told them I was nervous. Like I was just straight with them. I was like, I'm kind of nervous about to do this. And my 7-year-old daughter said, Mom, it's just like your speaking stuff, except it's in front of a camera and a microphone, right? I'm like, yeah,
you're so smart.
I'm like, she's like, you've done lots of speaking before, so you can do this. I'm like, I can totally do this.
That's
and
darling.
she just gave me this great advice of, you know what, Mom, you've done lots of speaking, and a podcast is the same
You've
thing.
gotten up and coming.
I know, right?
Yep.
So it's just fun to share. It's just fun to share. You never know what your kids are going to say, you know, or how you're going to influence them. So
Totally.
Which is super interesting because public speaking is most people's number one fear.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And to be able to say, well, that's what I want to do. I want to do speaking. What makes you, do you think, drawn to speaking and enriching other people's lives that way?
I think one of the biggest things is hearing other motivational speakers. My dad took me to some when he would present at his business. He took me to hear some motivational speakers, and I would leave just blown away. And I still remember the stories they told and the principles they taught. And it caused me to then go and take positive action in my life. So I think hearing other positive motivational speakers and learning what a difference they make, that's why I want to do it too, is because I know it can make a difference, right? And think about all the conferences or church events or different things you go to, there's always a speaker. And when they're dry and drab, sometimes I just want to pound my fist a little. Can I come up?
Hang on just a second.
Let's spice this up a little to keep the people interested, you know?
Because there should be a purpose and a real drawn to someone that's speaking and to go to an event.
Right.
So we're excited. Don't we have more to come?
We do.
Yep, we're going to pause right there.
Okay.
Coming up next, we've got more to talk about with Ashley. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Let's dive into what you are doing with your life coaching.
So you're coaching. Let's dive into, is there really even like a right or wrong way to set goals?
Yes, there absolutely is. I'm so glad you asked this, because this is one thing that I go and I speak about, and also that I coach on in my leadership circle with the women that I work with. I'm on Connie Stokel's team. I did her ambassador program where she she trained me in coaching, speaking, and retreat hosting.
We love Connie. So
So she's
you
awesome.
gave even more fab.
And I have a special discount code for your listeners. If this is a good time to share. Okay, we're hosting our next retreat in April, and it's called the Disciple Thought Leader Retreats for faith-based women, primarily women who are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who have a business idea or something that they want to go and market and share and learn how to do. And if you use the discount early bird, the discount code EARLYBIRD on ConnieSokol.com/retreat, you can get $500 off.
Oh my heavens.
Wow.
And we will share that on
Yes, we will.
Instagram and
Yes.
on the show. That is really amazing.
Yeah. So
And
it's
are you
amazing.
and Connie co-hosting it?
Yeah, so she's the main host and I'm the co-host.
Okay.
And then we have a team that also comes with us and helps and does breakout.
And is it just one day?
It's 3 days.
3 days.
Oh
Okay.
my heavens.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And
How
you get to just
exciting.
come put your feet up and you're fed the whole time. You don't have to do any dishes. That's like
sleepover,
the
too?
sleepover. Yep,
That's the
sleepover.
good part as
Stay-
well.
I know.
Yeah. Can we just come and just relax?
Yeah. it's
So are
great.
you going to talk about goal setting there?
Yes,
And
I
you're
will.
going to say there's a wrong way and there's a right way, ladies.
Yes. Yes. So I want to share with you, since you brought that up, there is a right way and a wrong way to set goals.
Give us a tidbit.
Okay, I'm
Okay, so
ready.
get ready. There's really 3 parts to this.
Okay.
So number 1 is it's just simple, but it's to write your goals down. There was a study done at the Dominican University of California, and they said you're 42% more likely to accomplish your goals just if they are written down.
Agreed.
But there are some little tweaks about how to write them to make
Oh
them
boy,
successful.
you can't just leave it at
okay?
writing it?
No.
It's not
Yeah.
that simple.
Write
Yes.
in cursive in a red pen.
That would make
In
it
my
even
phone, in my
prettier.
notes, does that work?
Yes. So the way you want to write your goals is there's a little acronym that Brian Tracy came up with. A lot of you probably know him. He was a famous businessman, author, and he said you want to write them with SMART goals, and that stands for simple, and you want to write them in the present tense. And I'm going to give you an example of this in just a second, so don't get
Okay.
overwhelmed.
Okay.
But simple, you want them to be measurable, actionable. You want them to be relevant. That just means if you have a goal to, say, write a book and someone comes to you with another offering to join their team to do some random other thing,
Okay.
and it's not helping you get to your goal, then that's not relevant to your
Okay.
plan.
It's a great
right?
opportunity, but maybe
Yep.
not
You can say no.
on the
Absolutely.
path.
You can say no, 100%. And then T is the time target attached. You want to give yourself a deadline because that creates urgency, right?
Okay. Okay.
So this
Smart.
is a real life example that I had when I went and spoke to a group, and we were going and practicing writing our SMART goals. And a mom came up to me and said her goal was to she said, I want to spend more time with my son. And I was like, that's a great goal. But I did a leadership training in the spring with a company called Becoming Your Best. And they said when you're writing your goals, you want to stay away from words like more or less or better because they're not specific.
So you say,
right?
I want to spend 2 nights a week with my son?
Yes.
Okay.
Along those lines. Yep. So what we got down to hers is we said this month I play games with my son for 30 minutes each Monday after dinner. So it's
Very specific.
super
Very specific.
Yes.
But that right when you say that, I'm like, okay, I can do that.
I know, right?
That
And
sounds doable.
the greatest part is it creates a crystal clear path for your brain to follow. So you know exactly what you're going to do. And the beauty is you have your plan with your SMART goal and written in this way, and then you can focus on other parts of life. So it's not so stressful. 'cause
And
you
I
have
feel
your
like
clear
once I
plan.
put something in a calendar, then that's kind of my go-to too. So I can see
Yeah.
how that would be a part of it. And then every Monday at 6 o'clock is just kind of held for
Yes,
that little
and
guy.
you just know. Absolutely.
Okay, we have to create
Yeah.
times. We have bad habits, maybe. That we need
Yes.
a break.
Yes. The last piece, though, before we jump into habits, the last piece of the goals is to review them daily. Because a lot
Daily.
of daily.
Okay.
Daily. So a lot of people write their goals down, and I bet you guys are even good at writing your goals down.
I do right, but I don't review
But
daily.
are you reviewing them daily? And there's Grant Cardone, the author of the 10X Rule. He said that he writes his goals down once in the morning and once at night so that he remembers them. And I've read of people who write down their top 10 or top 25 and they circle one to work on.
Okay.
So review
All right.
them daily.
Why does that stress me out?
I know. That's,
I think
because
it's
it does seem
commitment,
like a lot,
right?
right?
Right.
Yeah, and I'm worried that like if I don't do it, then that's failure, right?
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like getting over and past that. But
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But even if you're reviewing them 5 days a week, 4 days a week, you're not going to fall off the bandwagon by March. You know,
Right,
You'll
right.
set your written goal down in January, and if you're reviewing them daily, you're not going to be one of those people that falls
becoming
off.
more-
Okay.
yeah.
That is a huge piece of the puzzle.
okay.
Okay.
So then maybe it's just one. Right?
Yeah.
If I
Then it's
start with
very
one, I
simple.
can write that morning and
Yes,
night. Yes, I
yes.
can, Ashley.
And
So what about habits?
okay.
So maybe I need to break some habits
Yes, yes.
before.
Yes. So I think that habits are the hardest part about setting a goal because they're the engine of setting goals. They are what makes the goal come to life. So there's an author named James Clear. He wrote the book called Atomic Habits.
I love it.
I know, I love it. It's so good. But he shares a story about the British cycling team.
Okay.
Have you guys heard the story? About how, I love it. Every time I hear the story, I get inspired. So even if you've heard it, it's worth talking about. But they were just this mediocre team. They had won like 1 gold medal in 100 years and never the Tour de France. But they decided they wanted to win the Tour de France, which is like the mecca of the bicycling world. And so they brought in this coach named Dave Brailsford, and he said that he had this thing called the aggregation of marginal gains. And he said, if we can make a 1% improvement in everything related to cycling, I think you guys can win. So they hired a surgeon to teach them how to wash their hands. They tested different pillows and took the best ones with them on the road. They tested an indoor and outdoor racing suits and decided, you know what, the indoor ones are more aerodynamic, so they wore those ones when they raced. And they just did these 1% improvements. Like they painted their bike trailer white, so if there was dust, they could get it out of their gears. And these 1% improvements, Dave Brailsford said, if you can do this, I think you can win in 5 years. And he was wrong. They won in 3.
Wow.
Just by these little tiny habits. So I really think this shows us that excellence isn't about like these massive undergoing changes. It's about a commitment to the small things just day in and day out. And if you have good habits, then all you need is time. But if you have bad habits, then time becomes your enemy.
Yeah.
So is that how we're going to implement this? How do we implement
Okay.
our goals
Right.
with the habits?
That is such a good question. So you want the good habits to drive you towards your goals every day, because we only have a little bit of time to work with every day, maybe like an hour or two, you know, to work on our goals. So the best thing I think you can do, again from James Clear, he says to habit stack. So what you do is you take something you're already in the habit of doing and add on 5 to 10 minutes of the new habit that you want to implement. And it takes almost no extra effort. So for example, let's say you want to write a book and you think, okay, what am I in the habit of already doing? Let's say you're in the habit of taking your makeup off each night. So you say, when I take off my makeup, then I write my book for 5 to 10 minutes.
I love that.
And it takes almost no extra effort. And maybe by the end of the year, you could have 3/4 or
When
a
you
year.
take off your makeup,
Yes.
review your goals.
Okay.
There you
and
go.
drink my Diet Coke.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's stacking 3 habits.
And it's like a reward, which is even
it is.
even
After
greater.
I write my habits, then I
Yes.
get my Diet Coke.
Yes.
Not drink Diet Coke at night.
I know, I'm like, not after your makeup. That is so
To reward myself.
Yes. Yes.
Happy free Diet Coke.
I love how passionate you are about this. Like, don't you just feel her energy? You're just like, oh, what? You believe it, and I love
I
it.
do. And you've implemented it in your own life, which is so great. So you're not like preaching to the choir. She's done this. She's done the steps and now teaching and sharing.
And we know that to be true because if you follow Ashley, you know that she's setting her alarm a little bit earlier, or she is pausing while she's trying to finish the basement to actually practice what she's preaching. So I absolutely appreciate that about you.
Thank
and
you.
it makes it easier to try and implement some of that into our own lives. So
Right.
Ashley,
that's
I want to
awesome.
ask you, what
Okay.
what would you say are your top 3 habits?
Waking up early, 100%.
What time is that for you?
I wake up at like between 6 and 6:30.
Okay.
Depending on how my night goes the night before,
Okay.
I'm like really strict between getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
I am
so I
too.
wake
That's
up and
important.
exercise. Like
So
that's
another habit,
that's
right?
a huge
Sleep,
one. Yep.
exercise, waking up. There's 3.
Yes.
But tell me your other one. Yeah.
I know. Another one is I have scheduled date nights with my husband. The 2nd and 4th Friday of every month we do a date night. And then I also have, I try to do 12 date nights with my kids, so just once a month. And those are some of the most important ones to me. So I think just husband time, my kid time, and then my alone time every morning.
To
are
go
my
back
most
to that, when
important.
our kids were little, we did dates, and they still remember. Like Chris took Brianna ice skating, and I mean, it's those little things, and it's like
Yeah.
once a month.
Yeah, I know. I have 4 kids, so I'm like, okay, I can divide that up perfectly into 12, and they can
Yes.
each get their turn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good, healthy habits.
Yep.
yeah.
I agree.
I love it.
you. You are so
Yeah, we
engaging.
do.
I hate that we're out of time. You have to come back.
Okay, I would love to
Thank
come
you,
back.
Ashley. and
Thank
good
you
luck
for
at your
having
retreat.
me. Thank you.
There's more studio chatter coming up. welcome back. What did we learn today?
We had some fun guests.
Yes.
You did. Sorry, I just swallowed my
No,
cookie.
it's
I know, we're like, Natasha, we're
One,
eating.
you can never have too many cookies. You can never have too many blowouts.
Never too many therapy sessions.
Right. You can never have too much therapy.
And you need a lot of coaching.
And you need to write down your goals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very inspirational. Like, these
really
women are
was.
solid. All three women, Michelle at Wild Ivy, and then Ashley and Maddie, like
Really solid, strong women,
in
but
their,
kind and just loving and I don't know.
and just talking to them all off screen, they're all trying to just balance life.
Right.
Sometimes we just look at the person out in front of the camera and their success and everything, but behind the scenes they're like, hey, I need to hurry and get to daycare, or I brought my son here and I have 4 kids at home and last night I was up late. Like,
So they're like us. They're like
Maddie's
the
like
everyday person,
retired, but
still doing 10.
still doing therapy and has a 14, 15 people wait
And
list
doing
and 10
grandbabies.
grandkids.
And then watching the grandkids, yes.
And an
So we look at the
involved
package
challenge.
sometime and feel like, geez, they have it all together and they're doing this big goal.
Yeah.
But I think we're all filtering all this other stuff and then just trying to make it happen.
It's best not to compare ourselves. I
It
think
is.
it
Stay in
comes
your
down to
own
that.
lane.
Stay in your own lane, do your thing, set a goal. If you feel like you could do better, improve by 1%.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
do
that
love that
sound
story.
so
That
attainable?
sounds doable. And how she said stacking on habits. I'm like, that makes sense to me. I do take off my makeup every night. I sit at the chair, I do it. I'm like, okay, I've got to decide what I want to add
One
to
more
my
habit.
plate. Yep.
That's a good one.
I did the IG again this year, so that added.
That
And I love
But
the
it's
way
been
that you're
good.
doing it also.
one
Because I
word.
had to simplify it. So I had
Yes.
to do an obtainable goal because before it was stressing me out, and this is actually becoming a journal, and I'm able to do it.
So maybe that's a message for all of us: is still strive to do better, but in a simple way.
Right.
It doesn't have to be like when Ashley was saying a woman she met and wanted to spend more time with her son.
Yes.
You can't just say more time because suddenly that just feels heavy and a lot. But saying
Being very specific.
Yeah, because
Game
like
night
every
on
day
Monday?
you'd be worried about like when
Yeah.
am I going to spend that time? But she specified it, and then it was there in the calendar. She didn't have to worry.
The kid will be
Loved it.
happy with that one thing.
Yes.
So I think
Totally
it just
agree.
sounds really good.
Yeah.
So also again, thank you, Pete, for our gifts from Real Deal.
All wrapped up,
Yes,
ready
I
to
love
go.
this.
I know. Should we open them and just share with our
Yes, I'm trying to
viewers?
see. I'm trying to see what the socks are.
That's what Angie and I were just saying as
I
well.
know. I don't know if I can get mine open.
I think we're just gonna have to pull right off the top. Popcorn octopus. I like that.
I have
Pete
had
said,
this at Christmas, and it's yummy.
Pete
This
said
is
he
kettle.
just went right in and bought the whole gift package, so that makes it easy.
Oh, they
Yeah,
have them
that's yummy.
prepared. I love that.
Well, look at this cute little sucker. That's darling.
Oh, that's adorable.
Little to and from. That could be school.
And a
I'm
bath bomb.
obviously making this way too difficult.
you're gonna have
I'm
to
gonna
just
have to like
delete
look
it.
at yours. I'll keep mine together.
Oh, they're kind of like scrunchy
Are they just
socks.
little
Oh yeah,
cozy
just
socks?
cozy socks.
Yeah.
Yep,
You
and
can
they're
put them on
inside each other.
after Your husband
This
rubs
is bedtime.
rubs your feet.
Oh, yes, on Valentine's.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. So that'll
After
be
you've
nice
gotten
and-
out of the
yes,
bath,
and they'll be
had
nice
your
and
popcorn.
moisturized.
Well, happy
And
Valentine's,
pampered. I love
ladies.
it. Happy Valentine's
Hey, I
Day.
love you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for being here with us. We hope you enjoyed the program. If you learned something new today, please tell a friend about us.